Hey, good morning. This is Brian Helfrich. I'm the CEO and owner of Summit Coffee, and I'm here to tell you the story about how we pivoted so quickly that not only do we survive this pandemic, we are thriving. The famous Intel leader, Andy Grove, said, "Bad companies are crushed by a crisis, good companies survive them, and great companies are improved by them." And I can confirm that Summit Coffee is in fact improved by this crisis. We decided very early on, even before the stay-at-home order, that we needed to pivot and pivot quickly. And there were three things that were important for us. Number one was to try to preserve jobs. Number two was to try to preserve a service to the community that we've been providing for 22 years up here in Davidson. And number three was to do some remarkable things and provide good news to the people in the community all around us. So what we did right behind us is we took an old bank teller drive-through and turned it into a temporary Summit pickup location. And on the first day, we had a 90-car line by the time we opened. We partnered with our friends at Kindred Restaurant to create an amazing demand with some milk bread donuts. And basically it's been bonkers since then. We've saved every job in the company, have had zero layoffs, and in fact have turned around a profitable April, all the while really becoming a much smarter and wiser company. And it was the commitment to our staff, and I felt like they've given so much to us that we owed it to them to try to flip this thing. And Davidson doesn't allow drive-throughs, and this building has been vacant for 3 years, but you ask the right questions and you convince the right people, and all of a sudden you come up with a strategy for not only saving jobs but setting the company up to really accelerate out of this pandemic. So it's been an amazing experience, and I've learned a ton and super grateful for the community around us.
Awesome. Thanks, Brian. Milk bread donuts. How are you going to beat that? All right, panelists.
Hey, Brian, this is Rob.
Hey, Rob.
Yeah, I love the story. Thank you for keeping jobs and everything that you're doing up
Mhm.
in Davidson. I think it's a great story. So just for everybody on the call, how quickly did you do this? I saw your initial video about a month ago, and
Mhm.
I want to say this happened by like March 15th. Is that right?
Yeah, it was a week before the stay-at-home order, and it was March 17th is when we approached the person that owned the building and the town of Davidson. And on March 18th, the next day, Wednesday, we had a lease signed, and we opened on Saturday, the 21st.
And so what does that lease look like? Is that a 3-month lease? Because I think we all know that the days of having a packed coffee shop are significantly down the line. So can you keep this drive-through open for the foreseeable future?
The drive-through's been a temporary fix for us, and we have it through the end of May, to be honest, and so it's going to give us about a 10-week runway. We've actually replaced all lost revenue at our main cafe down the street by this drive-through. So we're flat over last April, which even exceeded our own expectations. And we're going to try to use this money. We're launching a new mobile app. Looking to where the consumer is going to go. I agree with your point that the packed coffee house, which is sort of how we've run our business for 20 years, we pivoted once, and now we need to foresee where the consumer is going to get their coffee going forward. So we're launching a mobile app to be able to serve our customers not only at the Davidson location, but in our Asheville cafe and then some other cafes we have come down the line.
And what kind of lines are you seeing today? Are you still, I'm sure it's not 90 cars, but are you getting a pretty consistent flow?
Yeah, we've got a consistent flow of business, and we did about $35,000 in revenue in April, and it's pretty consistent week to week. And our break even on the space was about $12,000. So we like I said, exceeded expectations.
Great story. Over to John or Garth.
Hey, Brian. Yeah, this is a great story. Um, I have a question that popped up during I also saw your previous video. What you said that the drive-throughs are not allowed in Davidson.
Hmm.
So did they lift that rule, and did they lift it temporarily, or is there you're not technically worded as a drive-through, or what's the story on that?
That's exactly right, Garth. We are a auxiliary takeout location. It's the way that we circumvented the law in Davidson. So um, customers, it's actually we're serving people. They don't have to get out of their cars, but we're not actually using the drive-through facility. We're mainly using the road system that the drive-through used to serve people in their cars. And so it is a temporary way around the rule that they let us do.
Because I would just make the comment that, when things calm down, I don't know if that's going to be in 2 months or 6
Right.
months or a year or whatever, but that's down the road. Right now, you're just trying to save your business. But I would imagine that Starbucks or McDonald's would would take issue with that.
Yeah.
Hey, why do these guys get a drive-through and we don't? But obviously, that's a long-term problem.
Well, it's actually, so the DriveThru is an old bank that's on a property that's being sold and developed into a apartment complex. And so the building was basically set for knockdown. There was no power. They didn't even have locks to the building. So the first day we signed our lease, we had to bring a locksmith out to let us into the space. So there's going to be no other use of the building. It's going to get knocked down in the next few months anyway.
It's great.
Brian, you alluded to that you have a shop in Asheville, which I've confirmed by a little Google here. Have you thought about this at your other locations, or did they already have a drive-through?
The Asheville one does not. So we are launching a franchise business. We're in the process of awarding our first handful of franchises in the Charlotte area. And this has pivoted the way that we are going to approach customers going forward. So before, it was very much, like Rob mentioned, gathering big groups of people in a coffee shop. And now we've offered mobile ordering through our point of sale system, and now we're going to hopefully use these funds to launch our own app. But we're also, as we open franchises with a target of 100 stores in the next 5 years, that DriveThru will play a significant part in that.
Thanks.
All right, I think we're all good with the panelists. Any questions from the audience? All right, we got a question here. Having pivoted to drive-through success, what's the biggest challenge now?
That's a great question. The biggest challenge now is going to be when the drive-through closes in 3 weeks. We've started to see business increase day by day at our cafe, which is legitimately 300 yards down the road from the drive-through. We're getting more and more consumers. And so our biggest concern is, how do we continue to feed Davidson's desire to support Summit and drink coffee while also doing so safely? And so, we're making sure that our staff are wearing masks. It's a mandate that we've put in place, but also, again, we're going to start table service in addition to mobile ordering, so that if people don't feel comfortable coming into the store. And so after 22 years of doing business one way, we're going to try to launch table service on the fly when people are allowed to come to Summit again. And, we have a huge outdoor patio. And so trying to figure out how to serve coffee and treat it like a restaurant will sort of be our next big hurdle to overcome.
Hey, Brian, meant to ask, use of funds. So if you were to win the $3,000 today, how are you going to apply that?
Yeah, so we're already working with an app developer in New York City. And this is going to help us accelerate that program, because I do believe that mobile ordering. So we launched a mobile ordering platform again through our point of sale company, Toast, during this time at our Main Street store. And 30% of our revenue in the month of April came from mobile ordering. So it's an amazing thing to launch and really not put much marketing energy behind it and be able to do that much revenue. So we're developing our own app so we can control the branding, the content, the storytelling. So it's going to be a mobile ordering loyalty program and storytelling app that we're building out right now.
How is that going to? Isn't there a company over there in Charlotte that has a app for ordering coffee?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's Inclusive. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, and they're a really smart company, and we use them. We did a test run with them at our one of our stores this year. The one thing about Inclusive is you can't really own the content and the storytelling, and so it's Inclusive's brand. And when you open your Inclusive app, you see Summit Coffee, but you also see 5 other coffee shops. And so if we are going to use our marketing energy to promote people to use that service, we're also sort of promoting our competitors at the same time, because they could easily pull up somebody else's menu and order from them.
Awesome. Think that's it. Any other questions? Looks like we're good. All right. Thanks, Brian.
Thanks, everybody.